Hey guys, welcome back to my watercolor channel. Today I paint some strawberries and the strawberries look like this. As we have summer, so I hope you like it, and as well it's for the beginners and it is on low quality paper. Okay, let's get started. Of course, the first thing to do is to make a small sketch on the paper, and here I also use a little bit of a low quality watercolor paper, and it seems to work out quite well. Look at the shapes that I have drawn, so basically like a circle and then a triangle, and then adding more of the curved lines to make it to look more three-dimensional. I add two strawberries. The second one I drew the same way, but it's a little bit further away. But it's important to add some curved lines to make it more realistically. I decided to add also flowers, so strawberry flowers, and I drew over a circle and as well as around, so I can add easily the petals, and I have an idea in which direction they are going or bending. Now you see a bit of a stronger pen. It doesn't need to be a very precise drawing, but that you recognize what it is and you have an idea where the forms are. Now I mixed my colors, so I use some of lemon yellow, and I prepare a lot of paint, and as well as cadmium red. So both colors are mixing together because I want that one side of the strawberry remains quite light. And then I use some crimson red as well, so I can add it later for the darker bits onto the strawberries. Then I use some phthalo blue. I mix it with the crimson red to make a light purple, and some Hooker's green. And I forgot to add the seeds onto the strawberries, so I quickly add them as well. As you can see, they are following the curved lines onto the strawberry, so that the strawberry keeps its shape. And then I continue to add colors. So here I have the orange mixed out of yellow and red paints, and I add it carefully onto the strawberry. I leave some light bits there, so I add later on some more paints, but this is basically some reflection of the light should remain there. Here I add more of a stronger cadmium red. Basically I'm just using the brush tip in a slight angle, and I try not to overpaint all these seeds. A bit faster here at the bottom. It already looks like a delicious strawberry. Then I add the lemon yellow at the top. So those colors are still mixing nicely together, and then some crimson red as well. I continue with the green bit of the strawberry, so just adding some of the lemon yellow and the Hooker's green, which is mixing nicely together. I take off some of the red, so it's kind of like a cast shadow. And then I continue with the second strawberry. So I proceed basically the same way, adding here a mixture of cadmium red and lemon yellow, so it makes a nice refreshing orange, and then adding more of the cadmium red while leaving out some of the seeds. As well as some of the crimson red to add some darker bits. I tried to paint in the form of the strawberries, and then adding here the green bits and some more of the Hooker's green as well. While I'm using the lighter colors such as yellow, I continue with the flowers as well, so basically the same colors as I have used before, some yellow and then a little bit of an orange into the center of the flowers. However, I can already add some of the phthalo blue, so onto the petals. It's a very light layer as the pad to maintain the fragility of the petals. I add some of the phthalo blue and mixed with the Hooker's green, so it has a hint of greenish shade in it into the background. I have not wetted the background as I usually do, so I have to proceed a little bit faster. But I tried to press the brush and make use of the paint and the brush as much as possible, so to cover a little bit more of the background, a bigger surface, press the brush tightly onto the paper. Only when painting around the subject, so the motifs, such as in my case here with the flowers and the strawberries, I use now the tip of the brush to be careful. But I don't mind if there are some stripes in between in the background, because it does not need to be perfect. But it looks actually quite nice. And I'm carefully not overpainting the strawberries, and then adding more of the phthalo blue around the petals of the flowers, because they are supposed to really pop out from the background, so they require quite of a dark background. My background here is still quite wet, so everything is mixing nicely together. And as well a bit more of the phthalo blue around the strawberries, so that the redness of the strawberries comes out nicely. I continue with the foreground, so strawberries are lying on a table. Here I have more of a phthalo blue and mixed with a little bit of crimson red, so it's a more purplish. But while I wait that the foreground is basically drying up, I add a second layer onto the strawberries to emphasize the shape. So I use also more of the cadmium red as well as the crimson red, and then a little bit of a purplish by adding of the phthalo blue to the crimson red. Now the ground has been quite wet, so the reddish colors flowing downwards, which looks quite nice. Then with the second strawberry, I continue the same way as I have done before, and as well here the red colors flowing down. Now I emphasize the seeds of the strawberries by adding more of the lemon yellow to the seeds. So you can see it much better. And also onto the second strawberry. Then I continue by adding more color to underneath the flowers, so some leaves and stems, but also to emphasize the horizon line so that the strawberries are lying on the table. I thought the green bit of the strawberries a little bit pale, so I add more of the green, Hookah's green, but this time I added more of the phthalo blue as well. So they're going a bit in the different directions. Here the second one. Then spreading it more with water. That's a darker, more blue color. And then just adding a shadow. So really using a very strong purple. As well as underneath the shadow, I give a light stroke of water so that the colors are flowing downwards and it looks much nicer. But I decided it looks a little bit too pale, so again, after everything has dried, I add more of the darker purple. Then I wanted to emphasize the single petals of the flowers, so I used the tip of the brush by adding some of the very dark phthalo blue, but not too much, so that the flowers don't get too dark. And then adding a little bit of a different layer onto the flowers petals, because so that they look more, not realistic, but that they have more volume. Now continue with the second one. Okay, that was it. The low quality paper has worked out well. Thank you for watching and remember to subscribe. Bye!